I appreciate you coming back and listening to another episode of the Way Up Podcast with your host, Geoff Knoll. Today is special. You get to meet Tyler Bolan, a 22-year-old insurance agent from Richland, Missouri. Despite his age, Tyler's wisdom shines through his unique approach to daily life. In this episode, Tyler unveils how seemingly minor disciplines drive his personal growth. Join us to learn how his story can inspire you to infuse your routine with purpose and self-care. Get ready to be motivated as we delve into the conversation with Tyler Bolan. The Way Up Podcast is sponsored by me. I'm a real estate broker in the state of Missouri, and I believe that this message is worth my investment. Hang with us till the end. I know you won't be disappointed. I am super excited to be here with my friend Tyler Bolan. Tyler, you're a younger guy. You're 22 years old. You went to high school with my brother-in-law, with actually several of my wife's siblings. So you grew up here in Richland, but you have got a whole lot going on for you. For your age, a lot of people at your age are still... they're just navigating, like figuring out who they are. And not to say that you're not, but right. You seem to have some clear direction as to where you're going.
Well, it helps to have good guidance. As Teresa was previously on your podcast, and my parents own the burger stand in town as well. So the business world, I've had very, very good guidance in life and very good upbringing. So I have to give my all the awareness there to my parents and just my family in general, because that they're the ones who get the credit for that for sure.
It does help whenever you have role model parents that are entrepreneurs and they are doing that.
Right. Yeah. And when you're just brought up, I mean, like anything for a kid is, something like even language, you talk about bad language around a child and how they'll use it. For me, growing up and being around in business, it was just like it became second nature because I was always involved and always around it. So that was very nice growing up and very a huge advantage for me compared to a lot of other people that just didn't have that.
Yeah, fair. So before we really get into this, what is something that people that know you likely don't know about you? Just a fun fact about you.
There's probably not much because I tell everyone pretty much. I talk to everyone and go into depths on a lot of conversations. So people know a lot about me. Probably the one thing, in the last couple of years, just I'm a homebody. I used to, really like to, hang out with my friends and stuff. And as my relationship has grown in the past couple of years, I've learned that sentimental time spending with my girlfriend has been something that I've really enjoyed over the last couple of years. So I think that's something that has changed about me that people might not know or recognize, that I'm definitely more involved in my relationship than I have been in the past. So that's very cool to see as well how that's changed.
So you've decided that you don't like other people now.
maybe
No.
maybe I've decided that a long time ago. Maybe I just maybe want to put a little bit more time towards that special someone.
No, I'm playing. You're very much a people person. You love you do well in the situation where you're communicating with other people. You carry yourself in a way that you're really interacting with people. You can tell that you care about people whenever you talk to them.
Right. Yeah. And that's my biggest thing is I just love hearing everyone's story. I mean, that's everyone's story is so different, so diverse. So it's so cool to just meet as many people as you absolutely can, hear as many stories as you absolutely can. And that's another advantage to being where I am today, is just absolutely just listening to people, just sitting back and just having those conversations and being able to consume knowledge and that you might not even understand at the time that is knowledge, but in the future you'll be like, okay, I understand why that person said this or why they said that like that, and being able just to consume that knowledge and open your ears and maybe sometimes just shut your mouth down is also been a huge thing for me as well.
Well, and that's really important that you said that, especially in a sales type job. And you're in insurance. You're not necessarily selling it, are you? Or maybe you are. I don't know.
Yeah, so I sell home, autos, life insurance,
Okay.
all the above right now. So for sure I'm in sales all the time, but also in servicing as well. So, in servicing, that's one of those jobs where you just kind of sit back, shut up, and you just kind of listen to the customer and their needs and their wants, and try to plan accordingly to make that happen. So
And that's a really important thing that a lot of people in sales, they don't ever get that piece. They don't understand. You got to shut up sometimes
right, absolutely,
and listen to what people are saying, because as a salesperson, you and I cannot effectively communicate. We can't get what the buyer is needing if
right,
we're not hearing what they want. Like
right,
we have to hear what they're looking for so
yeah.
we can actually provide them the value that they're looking for.
Absolutely, for sure. And insurance, it's all about protection. So I mean, that's where the conversation has to go is, how much protection do you need? What is at stake? What's to lose? What's not to lose? You have to have and touch on all those conversations. And sometimes the conversations can be hard, but that's just what you have to do if you're going to be a good representation for somebody. So
Right.
um,
Well, I want to dig in a little bit to your earlier years, watching your parents in business. And just can you think of an example or a few examples of them in business when you're looking up, you're watching your parents, your dad's got the burger stand, your mom has the market basket, both restaurants in a small town,
right.
but um, where you're seeing them maybe communicate with people, or you're seeing them and you're absorbing this knowledge. Can you think of any specific
I
circumstance?
word of mouth, like word of mouth advertising has been one thing that like I can always refer back to my parents. And just kind of like that communication, that sort of style, I should say, of marketing. And the old fashioned way, when social media is taken out of it, and I can look back and being able to grow up on that different way of marketing and understanding, like, if Facebook stopped tomorrow, I feel like I would still be able to kind of keep going because I understand those other key points that were before the social media times, that were just simply, you have to have a good product, you have to, have good service, and provide excellence for people. And then in return, people are going to talk, people are going to get the word out. And just really being a sole provider for the community. As a business, you're just a hub, you're a provider, you're a helper for the community. If you're not trying to help and build and grow the community, then your business is never going to grow either. And that's just part of it. And that's, one big thing that I've learned growing up is that you have to be involved. You have to give people your time, your effort, and show them that you're not just there to sell them, on something, that you're there to truly help them and the surrounding community that they live in as well. So I think that that's been, one big valuable piece of information material for me that I've learned, is just be involved, always stay helping, and reaching your arm out, and giving a helping hand, and in return, people will give you the same thing. So
Yeah. So I know your aunt's really involved in the Chamber of Commerce. You went through a leadership class that the Chamber of
yeah,
Commerce puts on, that I was in the same class with you.
right.
So I'm seeing you get plugged in at 22. I wish I was engaged at your age. That I'm just learning is so important. And I
Yeah,
didn't. I looked at that as, why would I want to spend my time doing that? I don't want to go do that. But we've made friendships.
right.
You and I, we're buddies now. We
Yes,
weren't before. I mean, I didn't dislike you, but I didn't really know you. I just knew
right,
you were a kid that went to school with my brother-in-law. But
right.
you make connections with people and you learn things about them. And you say, you know what? Hey, we can help each other out. We can do this and leverage the power of networking within your community. So I know you've recently reached out to me. You joined the park board in the city of Richland,
Yes,
and you are getting connected right there.
yes,
You also touched on the word of mouth marketing, just having good relationships with people. Do you think that's something that is really only prevalent in small towns, or is that something that you can do everywhere? Because I think it's something you can do everywhere.
Absolutely. I think it's something that extends no matter what area you're in. Knowing people never hurts. I mean, just anything as far as your car breaking down on the side of the road, or needing food. I mean, whatever it is as long as you know somebody, you're never, gonna have to stress out or worry about it. So I think that is such a valuable piece of information, and just to have those people right there at your beck and call, and vice versa, to let those people know that you're there as well for them. That's such a huge relationship that will go so much farther than a simple post on Facebook or something like that. And just truly having a care for that person beyond business, I think, and it's not just being a business relationship, it's a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And just not, on a business level. So, keeping the friendships, keeping that help going, and you referred to leadership. It was a great program. Like something that I learned, going into that, is there wasn't anybody my age. So going into it,
Yeah.
the age diversity was very, very different, which was totally fine. I feel I connect better with older people anyway. So that was awesome, to have experienced teachers as well around me, people who are wonderful. You, Jay Teagues, Craig, all the great people that, I became friends with, that were such leaders already going into that, and who are better leaders now, that were able to teach me stuff as well. So I've just had so many truly tremendous opportunities to grow myself growing up, and just have tried taking advantage of all of them.
Well, and you probably were significantly younger than the next person up from you, but you fit right in. It was not something that people were like, "Oh, we got the kid with us." It wasn't like that. You fell right into place. You seemed extremely comfortable in the situation, and in that, you said, we separated by our colors based on the colors
Right.
thing,
Right.
and you identified that you're kind of an introvert. You're not
Right.
not really extroverted, which is kind of surprising for somebody in sales, but you're not alone in that. I work with a bunch of real estate agents that they do fine in a one-to-one. They can talk, they got a small group of, one family they're showing houses to, but they get in front of 5 or 6 people, they're looking for their way out. They're like, this isn't for me. I can't do this.
Yeah, the leadership program really helped me build past, that, just that speaking in front of a lot of people, because like you just touched on, my social skills one on one, I feel, are perfectly fine. It's just that, when you get in those other situations, and you're not having a one on one meaningful conversation with actually one person, you're actually having it with 30. Trying to find things to connect with everybody rather than just one person seems a little, is more difficult for me, more nerve-wracking, more anxious. So, working on that in the leadership class really, really worked at that. So it's still a process that I got to touch on, but it's growing for sure.
Growing. That's 100% it. And that's really what this whole podcast is about, is personal growth, the journey of becoming successful. And I picked you out because I see a lot of really positive things that you're doing, that I think if people your age would latch onto that, it would help them get there faster. Like, you have
Yeah.
a little bit of a head start on them. Do you have any kind of, what personal growth things do you do? Do you have any routines, or are you reading, or what do you got going on?
I think spending quality time with the people who mean the most to you, is really the biggest thing, and allows your mind just to simply relax. Um, and it allows you to ponder on new ideas and new stuff. I'm all the time sitting with Olivia and just like telling her, things that are coming to my mind, like, blah 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 this, blah 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 that. She's probably so annoyed by this point, but just sitting there with somebody who truly makes you happy. I mean, I feel like happiness, people, when people are truly happy, they open up, and that's when good things begin to happen. So if you can fix your at home life and just staying organized, keeping your room cleaned, keeping your bathroom and your shower clean, keeping your laundry done, staying on top of the simple task in your life makes your life so much easier. Because if you go to work and you have a hard day, you come home and you have a clean house and you have nothing to worry about. So that's something for me, eliminating the small things so that you don't have that extra stress in your life, so that you can focus on doing more, helping more, and just being, a better person for the community, and for the business for sure. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you do anything to keep your energy level up? I know you've got lots of food allergies, or maybe not allergies, but you have some food sensitivities that you are limited on what you can eat. Do you
yes.
have anything that you're doing to keep your energy level up?
Water, water, water. Yeah, just you got to chug water. I have recently started fasting. So I am
Me
trying
too,
not to,
man.
yeah, so I'm trying not to have any dinner, just trying to have a lunch. And then, kind of work that lunch off before you going to bed. And water has really helped with that. Just absolutely just chugging water, and like a lot of water, like almost like you're eating it to where your stomach is full, has helped me. Because dealing with fasting for the first couple weeks, and just that lag, like 2 o'clock, I don't eat lunch until like 2:30 to 3 o'clock, but like 1:30, 2 o'clock, I feel this like I'm getting hit by a truck and I have no energy. So now I've, planned accordingly to that, and I'm able just to, drink water, kind of, plan for that to come. And then whenever it hits, I've disciplined my mind to, it's 30 minutes. Let's just get through this. You know what I'm saying? So some days are worse than others. So, being in business, being in sales, and just having curveballs thrown at you all the time, it's stressful. So some days you cave, some days you don't. But just really trying to work with my mind, and stay disciplined. I see a lot of people are going through the 75 hard program. So that's my next step, is to try to get on that program, that Live Hard program, and just to really get to where I can control my mind 100%.
Are
Um,
you wanting to do the whole Live Hard program?
I would love to, absolutely. I just
Yeah.
think it would be so beneficial for me and my mind and my time, and just your everyday life, every aspect of your life. I feel like that program touches on and builds. So
Absolutely.
you
It
know,
does. I did 75 hard, and it
yeah,
took me 99 days. I
wow,
At day 24, I hadn't taken my progress picture, and it's one of those things that you really have to reflect on. Who am I doing this for? Am I doing this so the people that see me in social media can think I'm some sort of badass?
right,
Or am I doing this because I'm trying to develop who I was created to be?
right.
And
That absolutely
that was 100% the only reason why I started over on day 24, because nobody would have known.
right.
And I would have known. And that would have bothered me more than just saying, "Oh yeah, I finished. I
Exactly.
did it. I did it."
Exactly. Yeah.
Now it
Because you
bent
can say
it
that,
bent
but
my brain, man. It bent my brain to go through a lot of those things. There was days, and you will, when you start it, I highly recommend it. It's great. When you start it, you're going to be telling yourself things to try to talk yourself out of it. Your mind is always looking for the easy way out. And whenever you're doing something crazy like that, and it is a little bit crazy,
it is. Yes, for sure.
but you're learning that you have discipline. You're building a very tough person that can withstand anything.
Absolutely. And I mean, it is crazy, but life in general is crazy. And I feel like that, that's why it's so good, is that it touches on every aspect. of, of life, and puts discipline into your life. I think that that's what a lot of people are missing, is discipline in their life. Because when you grow up and, for me at 22, I just recently moved out in October. So my girlfriend and I just now got a place last October. Living on your own and establishing discipline for yourself is a huge thing, that I think that is a reason that a lot of young people, kind of fail in those first years of life, is not having that discipline whenever you move out, to budget, to keep your house clean, to have all of these things in line. And so the time that they should be spending on building a business or building a name for themselves or making lots of money or helping lots of people, they're really spending on the thing, trying to figure out how to, handle those small aspects of life that really should just be handled already. And I think if a lot of people my age, before moving out, if they could just settle down, because I get it, it's so exciting. It's like one of those things, you're like, holy cow, I'm getting out of my parents' house, whatever. So you're not really prepared. But if you could get prepared for it and to move into that situation and save your money while you're with your parents, you'll start your life out so much better than everyone else. You know what I mean? You'll start out with a clear head start. And just knowing how to do those simple things, you'll just be so much stress free, for sure.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. Those are extremely wise words from a 22-year-old. And I hope that doesn't minimize you just keeping on bringing up that you're 22, but it blows my mind seeing somebody, because I was not you. I was not in your position at 22. I felt somewhat responsible. I had been married. I got married at 21 years old.
Wow.
And yeah, imagine that. Which it's probably not that hard for you to imagine. You're in a serious relationship. It's probably not too far off for you either.
I don't know what would change in our lives if that happened.
Well, you don't know, but there's a lot of maturing to happen still. Guys really are not fully mature at 21 years old or 22 years old. We're not. That's not by nature. Not to say that nobody makes it. There's people that get married in high school,
right,
and are married their whole lives. So right. Not to say that that's not possible, but the likelihood of that lasting is so difficult, because
kids, you're going to change.
You need to mature. You need to continue to grow yourself. And I'm taking this a direction that was not intended. So, but I was not in your position at your age. I was still, I was building my family, and I was trying to do all of these things, but I didn't have the right building blocks for doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think getting a good start on it, and Olivia, I are obviously still dating. So just figuring out first, how we live together, because people are very different in how they live. Some people can appear clear and clean on the surface, but they're really behind the scenes very dirty and messy and unorganized. And, there's just some things in life that people cannot deal with, that there's pet peeves and stuff like that people are just not going to handle. They're not going to handle in their everyday life and put up with. So I feel like we've been doing good. We haven't figured out any pet peeves so far, so that is good. But having that,
you will.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You might chew too loud, or you might gulp. I'm a gulper. It's a thing.
Yeah. And I seen, I also seen something on, TikTok, a couple months ago about, and it's kind of, corny to say, but like when you get into a fight, figuring out whether she, wants a solution, or if she wants comfort in that situation. Because sometimes I found myself, whether it was for her coming home from her job and very stressed out, and I found that I was very quick to jump on and give her solutions, to this is what you need to do, blah, 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 rather than I'm so sorry that you had a bad day, and just giving her that comfort that she needs, and vice versa. And that's really been a big improvement in our relationship, and just our overall happiness, is just being able to communicate to each other. We're humans. We don't need to yell at each other, we need to just communicate. So,
I think
that's,
discovering that
yeah,
early is going to save you so much heartache, because
right.
I myself, I want to fix people. I want to you have this problem, well, let's break that down and get to the bottom of it.
Right.
Sometimes when somebody's going through something, they don't want that. My wife being one of them. She's a very analytical thinker. She's already breaking stuff down in her mind, but she, just like you said, she needs some comfort. She needs, hey, I'm sorry you had a bad day. I'm sorry. That's what she wants more than, let's unpack this together, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And maybe it's just that you give her that comfort, and then 30 minutes later you come back and you're like, okay, let's go from here. How can we figure this situation out? How can we conquer this task
Mm-hmm.
together? And some days, don't get me wrong. I mean, it all sounds perfect when you sit and talk about it. It's not perfect whatsoever. I mean, Olivia and I, we've been together for this will be our 7th year. So, I mean, it's not been perfect. I mean, there's obviously been some figuring stuff out at a very young age while we were both changing a lot. So it's been tough, it's been tough and challenging, but everything, if you just stick with it, has a reward. So,
Mm-hmm. And relationships are tough and challenging.
yeah, they are. I mean,
And
yeah.
that doesn't change.
No.
It will always be some sort of work and challenge to get through.
Right.
I do really like that you guys are living together. And I know that this is a super controversial. My dad was a preacher, and I was raised to believe you don't live together before you get married.
Right.
Definitely no sex before you get married.
Right.
And I think that way of thinking, and I believe in God. I claim to be Christian. I believe that way of thinking puts people into a lot of really bad situations, because, like you said, how can you know what somebody's going to be like if you don't ever live with them? And you want to say, yes, I want to commit my life to be married to you forever.
Exactly.
And we've never lived together. That's insane.
Right.
That is insane.
But I almost feel like, in that situation, with God, for instance, it's like, my argument is, would you rather, um, you know, would you rather me be part of an analytic, a number of a divorce ratio of that? And because, I mean, I feel like the Bible, to honor your wife, to stand by your wife, divorce really isn't an option when you are reading the Bible, I feel like. So is it worse to not live together and then just get married and then have the chance of divorce, or is it better to live together and figure that out, and before having children, before getting married, before buying a house and doing all of these things, and um while it's still temporary, why it's still non-damaging for the both of you.
Right.
um so
Well, and I 100% agree with that. I was raised, divorce was not an option,
right.
but with that mentality of my upbringing, I stayed in a toxic relationship way longer than I should have,
Right. Just
because
trying to make something work.
I felt like I had a duty and an obligation to make something work.
Right.
And the truth is, I shouldn't have married. I shouldn't have gotten married to that person. I have a son that I'm so grateful and fortunate that I have, and I do believe there's no coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. The hardships and the struggle that I went through in my marriage really formed who I am. Like that is part of me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that being said, I could have avoided so much heartache had I not gone that, or maybe had the same perspectives on that
Right. Absolutely.
at the
No.
time.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And I mean, you wouldn't be the person I mean, like you said, you wouldn't be the person that you are, or have the knowledge or the wisdom or anything on life right now if you didn't go through that situation.
Right.
Um, and that's with Olivia and I, we've had a lot of issues in the past, just, different things. I'm 2 years older than her, so we hit different points of life at different times. I hit a graduation point in what I was going to do with my life, and she hit I was getting my driver's license and I can just now drive time in her life. So, we hit every point of our lives, 2 years apart. So, being able to build and to grow and to make it through all of those challenges makes you so tough. So for sure. So makes your relationship very unbreakable. So that's nice. And I'm absolutely thankful for it now, that I can look back and say, because during the time I was like, oh my gosh, this is so stressful. Why do we have to go through this? And to look back now, and that's the reason, that's why you have to form and build and mortar, the relationship. So
you guys were dating in high school or junior? Were you in junior high? When did
we
you
started dating whenever I was 16 and she was 14.
16? Okay. Yeah. I'm so glad I didn't know my wife when I was in high school, because she was like 7. And that'd be weird.
Yeah.
That would have been weird. But
just a little.
Yeah. So interesting. So
yeah.
We are low on time. I want to ask you just a few more things. One would be, give me some advice that you would have for a group of your peers. If you could speak to the kids that you went to high school with and say, hey, we're all doing this, but what is some piece of advice that you could give them that may be beneficial for them?
Yeah, I think truly just caring for the community that cares for you is a big piece of advice, and just exposing yourself. If you feel scared about something, the biggest helper for me is exposing myself to things that I was scared of. Putting myself in rooms full of people who had a long list of accomplishments in life that I may never even touch or hold a candle to. Sitting at the tables with those people, talking to those people, just truly, like I said, exposing yourself to the groups, the park board, whatever it may be. Get on the groups, get involved in something, and light a fire, and then your fire just grows from there. You just have to get involved in one thing. And if you feel like, I always feel like I'm rushed. I always feel like that I have to act on something, right then. Just be patient. I think being patient is so beneficial, because being young, you get so anxious over things and stuff, and being patient has really just establishing patience in my life has helped as well. But I think the biggest thing is just truly exposing yourself to everything that you absolutely can, and learning, and open your ears, shut your mouth, and just and put your nose to the grindstone and go from there.
Dude, that's awesome.
So
any final thoughts for listeners? I greatly appreciate you coming on the show. I'm going to let you finish it off. What would you leave my listeners with?
I have a spot on the Richland Park board that I need to fill. So any of my fellow peers, young peers preferably, but I will take older peers as well, would like to join the Richland Park board. We do have an application for that.
Okay, so call me. I want to learn what this is about.
Absolutely. Just building your community is awesome. Like to me, it was like, holy cow, like I can be a part of this park board. And I mean, even if that's on a smaller scale or a huge scale, whatever it may be, being a part of that just makes you feel bigger than yourself. And there's no way to do that unless you expose yourself to these things. So absolutely, just get out there and find something that you love to do, and expose yourself and get involved.
There's definitely power in uniting with other people that are like-minded and are trying to accomplish something, because you can get way more done with a group of people than you can do on your own, or than I can do on my own. So Connecting with people is power. But
Absolutely.
brother, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Keep up
Yes,
the good
sir.
work. You've got big, big things ahead of you, man.
Sir. Thank you.
Yeah, boy.